ask you, what we'll ask you to do as panelists is to just keep your audio muted unless you're going to say something for the sake of the recording, so we can get a really great recording.
Yep. And hello, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started with our 90-day burst call. First of all, we want to just welcome the panelists that have joined us on the call. All the panelists are silver and above. So we've got Alan Fitzgerald, Dia Nyloff. We've got our sponsors, Ed Weens. Welcome to the call, Ed. Mr. Dan Doyle, calling from Florida. And hello, welcome to the call, Carmel. And Malcolm Sword. Hi, Malcolm. We've got Sepp and Jeska, who are from Australia, but in Utah at the moment. Stevie Molina. Welcome to the call, Stevie. John Allen. We've got Jeff and Akiko. And Wood, and also Tom and Mel Croucher. So first thing we want to do is just welcome our special guests that we've got, and that would be Bo and Cindy Buck.
We're so excited to have them on. We're going to feature them in just a minute. They've been gracious enough to come and impart their wisdom on us. And just looking for who's unmuted.
It's me. It's Tom's birthday is still over here, so you should say happy birthday to Tom.
Tom, and Alan Fitzgerald's birthday too.
Oh, wow.
So we got lots of birthdays happening.
And
happy birthday.
And Ed just had his birthday. It turned, 29, 39 again, something like that?
It's the Celsius. It's Celsius.
So, happy birthday all around to everyone. It's exciting. Older and wiser, right, Ed? Yeah.
And we're calling in from Salt Lake City. We just got off the plane, so we're here for the ascent, along with a number of other. Actually, Australia's got a pretty good turnout of this ascent. How many people all up? I think there's 9 distributorships, 18 people.
Yeah, 9 people made it. That's awesome. We've got the biggest showing from Australia than any other country.
Wow, yeah. That's exciting. We're looking forward to it. What we do, as you know, on these 90-day burst calls is we keep them to the A-Lift theme. And this week is L for Living List. Last week, you remember John Bash gave an amazing training on attitude. It is so worth getting that recorded. If you haven't sent it out from the newsletter I sent around already, it's extremely inspirational, and only John can say it in John's words to be able to do what he does. He's amazing. So get it out. And today, so that we can get Cindy and Bo Buck involved pretty much straight away, we would love them to come on and talk about L for Living List. But first, I know that Ed and Bart, you've known Cindy and Bo for a long time, because I was trying to think how long you've been involved in this industry, and I know it's more than 15 years, because that's how long I've known you both.
Yeah, it's been, for me, in the industry, probably 30, 32 years, something like that, 22 of those full-time. And I probably met Bo and Cindy 20 years ago, maybe 18 years ago, something like that. Yeah. And they've just been the kind of people that you just connect with. I mean, they're just they're heart-driven people, so that's why they really kind of continue to model the culture of this company, and they're absolute servant leaders. That's why they've got a big team, and appreciate them so much taking time tonight to address you folks. They're very avid outdoors people. They kind of live in a mecca of outdoor activities, somewhat like Park City, but they're in Colorado. Bo is, everybody looks up to Bo, and if you ever get next to him, you'll understand why. There's very few people can look eyeball to eyeball with Bo. And, you know, he was a very active sportsman for a lot of years, and played a version. He was a rugby player up into your 40s or something like that, Bo, on a pretty high level. So it's almost, to me, I don't know the difference between rugby and Australian rules football. They look pretty much the same. I know you're all idiots because you don't wear any helmets or anything, but you know, Bo is, I'm sure he's inflicted more punishment than he's taken through the years. And Cindy's an avid skier, an outdoors person, but they're just awesome Triple Diamond leaders, Millionaire Club members, and very, very privileged to have them be able to address you today. Great friends.
Yeah, I was just going to mention too, I mean, in terms of, they've been tremendous industry leaders as well. Cindy kind of took the lead to begin with because you were working to get Bo home so you guys could work this together. and went from direct to diamond in literally your first year in ASEA. So massive accomplishment. They've got a goal, if I understand correctly, to have 100 diamonds in your downline or more. And so
Beatrice is a little ahead of us, but we're doing our hardest.
She's working it pretty quick, let me tell you.
Yeah, she is.
Well, I think what we ought to do is just, like Melissa said, we're doing the A-lift process. Today is talking about making a list, a living list, and how you track that. So I'd love to hear how you guys got started, what you've done, and how you follow up with people. Just turn the time over to you.
Fantastic. How much time do we have, guys?
How much would you like?
5 minutes should cover it.
Do your thing. Have fun.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, we want to congratulate you guys on all your success. It's been so inspiring to see everything that you guys are doing down under, and regardless of any kind of difficulties that the TGI throws your way, it doesn't seem to slow you down. So the teamwork that you guys are showing and really locking arms with each other and moving forward as a team is truly, truly inspiring. And I think the newsletter that Melissa sends out on a regular basis is great to keep everybody on track that's not concentrating on this 24/7. So first of all, kudos to you. And it's wonderful to see, so many Australians in the Ascent. It's just an incredible event that we were blessed to be able to attend as well. And so you guys are going to thoroughly enjoy that. And it's great that you have so many team members there.
Yeah, great accomplishment for your team. Congratulations. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that. Well, you two are part Australians anyway. You've been out to Australia several times, haven't you?
We love it down there. We absolutely love it down there.
But you haven't been to
there's the culture of ASEA and the product of ASEA and Renew 28, and now the new Renew Advanced seems to fit right into many people in the health and wellness thinking. It's just such common sense that if you can keep your cells healthy, you can keep your body healthy, and to have one thing that gets to the foundation of everything is just powerful. And so, I think that one of the things when you're building your living list is to first get really clear about what you're doing in the first place and who you're doing it with and why you're doing it. And if you ground yourself in that kind of strength and reminder every morning, you'll have the shoulders that it takes sometimes to shoulder, some of the responses that ignorant people will give you along the way. But, if you go out, obviously, Ed gave a great talk at Envision about fishing versus hunting. And if you're really confident in what you're doing, you don't need anybody. You feel like you can offer this as a gift to people that want to know more about what you have. But in order for you to know what they want, you really have to listen. So one of the key components to keeping your list alive is to go out there in the world with your antenna up. And as you're listening to people in conversations and observing, different people's lifestyles and listening to different people's conversations, you're going to find an opening that's going to allow you to ask a pre-qualifying question and see if you can get permission to send more information or to even bring up ASEA in the first place. So one thing I learned early on, which was really helpful to me, and it kind of helps us discern between going out there and fishing for people who really want what you have versus, running to people that may not be interested in what you want to give them, is that really professional network marketers ask permission. They're really full of respect, and it's all about respect for the other person. And really pushy, obnoxious network marketers, we tell people what to do, and that can really turn people off, because then people feel like they're being sold, they're being pushed, they're being manipulated somehow, and it's not a good feeling. So if we can go out there with an attitude of asking permission and really keeping that other human beings, full on respect at the top of our mind, we're going to be much more successful in attracting people into our business. So do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think one thing one thing that Cindy and I are working on a lot now, and we're in a position that we can do it, is working on lifestyle prospecting. In other words, prospecting, as Cindy said, is keeping your antenna up and just listening, but going out and being a pleasant person that if you were on the other side of you, you would be interested in getting to know them. You would be, you know, a smile, hello, how you doing? Good day, mate, right? And seeing what's going on. And people are interested in people that are interested in them. And then you can get into conversations and build relationships. And I think that what happens is that the living list is really the building relationship list. It's not, you know, just the people that you're going to go and hammer with ASEA. It's the people that you're going to build your relationship with so that you can really find out who they are and where ASEA fits for them, if it even does. If it doesn't, maybe you've made a great new friend. And that's the most important part. And that's what I call lifestyle prospecting. And there are many issues. I mean, as far as the living list, there are things, Facebook now, I mean, all of a sudden my college, I played American football in college. We just had a reunion for our my coach back when I was in college, and I couldn't make it because I was at the Envision conference down in Dallas. But the bottom line was I got an email with, I think, about 250 people's email addresses on it. So I started going through those email addresses and finding the people from when I was playing football that I knew and starting to email out to them or look them up on Facebook and just reconnect. And that, boom, guess what? They're on my living list. Am I going to call them and, you know, hammer them on ASEA today or tomorrow? No. But I'm going to try and grow into building the relationship back up from 35 years ago when I was playing football with them. So if you can, it's really if you can make it part of your everyday life instead of part of your everyday drudgery, right? And that's kind of a mindset in itself. You want to think about going out and just being nice to people and friendly to people and reconnecting with people you already know. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Hey, I just had a question. So in terms of making your list, I know sometimes, you know, I guess, who is it specifically that you're looking for? Who are you targeting? And also there's kind of an aspect about not prejudging people, whether they're, you know, higher up on the socioeconomic, or maybe people can lead you to people. I don't know if you want to comment about that a little bit. And
we definitely don't have a crystal ball. And when we start to make decisions for people that they should really be making for themselves, we're blowing it. So if we can, you know, you just can't tell a book by its cover. And this lesson will be taught to you over and over and over until you stop prejudging, because we simply don't know who's going to do this. And we simply don't know who's not going to do this. And, you know, we get phone calls all the time, man, if we could just get this guy would be huge. And then that guy, you know, but maybe buys product or maybe doesn't, or, you know, you spend a lot of time on that guy and he never leads you to anybody. And then there's somebody else that, you know, doesn't seem like such a bigwig, and all of a sudden this person just takes off. I mean, we had a person just go silver in our organization this week. And I'm telling you what, I wouldn't have guessed in a million years that this particular person would have gone silver. I was absolutely blown away. We just had a retreat at our house recently with a bunch of leaders in our organization. And if I had to choose the people that I really thought were going to move forward in their business after that retreat, I wouldn't have chose these three women that are absolutely flying right now. So, you know, just please don't prejudge. It's just a constant reminder that we have no idea who's going to do this and who's not going to do this. And everybody's capable of doing this, but you really have to learn to listen with your eyes, because talk is cheap. So when the words and the actions line up, then you start to really build trust, and that person starts to gain credibility in the truth about really wanting to move ahead in ASEA. You know, you can go proactively. I mean, a lot of us are on a charge right now. We really want to move forward quickly. And so if you want to move forward quickly, it's hard to go out there very casually and just, you know, have friendly conversations with people. You can make proactive phone calls to people that may or may not be interested in learning more about what you have. So if you're contacting practitioners or, you know, people that you have notes on in your cell phone that, you know, may know somebody. If you ask for help, oftentimes people will be more likely to help you than join you in business. They just want to help you because they know you're in business. So if you ask them, hey, can you help me out? I'm working with this incredible cellular health company. I know you live in Tennessee, and I'm really expanding my market to Tennessee right now. And I know, do you know anybody in Tennessee that might be interested in learning more about cellular health or joining me in a business venture with a totally proprietary cellular health technology? And instead of trying to recruit the person or have a conversation directly with the person that you're speaking with, ask them who they know. And that can be a very unintimidating conversation for the person that's answering the phone, because they don't feel like they're under the microscope. And if they want to be under the microscope, they can say, well, what about me? What am I, chopped liver? Right? And well, I'd love to work with you. I just know that, you're so busy with your kids or whatever, but oh my goodness, if you'd like to take a look at this, I'd love to talk to you about this. But your initial conversation might be asking them who they know beyond themselves, and then they can put themselves in that position if they want to. And that kind of keeps your relationship, comfortable, so that they don't feel, you don't feel like you're losing a friend over a business conversation.
Yeah, there's another aspect that we were talking about before, as far as making sure that you're not neglecting someone for one reason or another. And that also includes someone that you think, geez, they would never do it because they're doing well, because they're well off, your chicken list or something. You look at our friend, and she had network marketing experience, but you look at our friend Debbie Wetzler, who most of you know who she is, phenomenal woman who we thought was doing well. You see her walking around town. She's wearing the same great clothes, driving the same car. And we waited for quite a while to call her for our business. And when we did, we found out that she had been on her knees praying the night before for something, because her company hadn't paid her in 8 months. And her house was going into foreclosure, and she still had a daughter at home who was going to college, had to pay for her college. Her son was soon to get married. She wanted to help with the marriage. The whole deal. She had 20 minutes a day. Not saying that that's easy to do, but she had 20 minutes a day, and she did every day. And she would just schedule Cindy and said, let's make calls. And for 20 minutes, she was working at a white tablecloth restaurant at 60 years of age, throwing plates around, being a waitress. And so she brought her cards in, and Cindy and she went to work in 20 minutes a day, and she's a triple diamond a day. And we wanted to respect her and her business and her place in life per se, as opposed to just sharing what we had, because we didn't want to interrupt what she already had going. And guess what? She didn't have anything going, and she was terrified. Don't forget your friends.
Well, and we were just at a fly-in with Bobby Martin, and Bobby Martin is somebody that didn't need the money. He didn't need to work. He's got the money that he needs, but he didn't feel like he had a significant role to play in the world. And so what he was looking for was significance. He wanted to feel important. And so, when Trish Winkler called Bobby, he thought he was going to recruit Trish into his network marketing business. But what happened was he ended up in her network marketing ASEA business. So, it's never a bad idea to find out who people know that are open to this network marketing distribution model. Because if you just, lay it all down on paper, we all became network marketers at some point in our life. And the longer we did it and the more we practiced doing it, the better we became at it. And so if you're recruiting network marketers, who do network marketers know? Other network marketers. And the truth is that there's a lot of unhappy network marketers out there, because there's companies that just are unscrupulous. They don't do business in an ethical way. And these people are looking for a home. So, you might ask people, who they know that has done network marketing. And if they, say, oh my gosh, I know a friend that will never do network marketing again. Really, why is that? Oh, because this company they were working with got bought out, and whatever the story is. Really, well, I would love to meet that person. I would love to hear more about what happened. I'm not familiar with that company at all, and make contacts with people who, either love network marketing or maybe have given up on network marketing because they had a bad experience. And so if you can become their friend and show them what ASEA is, you know, and assure, you know, once they get surrounded by the ASEA family and the ASEA corporate team, they're going to get a much better understanding that this can be their last rodeo. This company is very sustainable. It's not going anywhere. This company is reliable, ethical, and many people are looking, many network marketers are looking for a company that has the sustainability and the culture that ASEA provides. So network marketers are great people to have on your list.
Another place to find people to put on your list, and this may seem funny, but is on your list of people that told you no. And the reason is because, is there a possibility that you might have, we're moving out of the sunlight, guys. It's a little bright. The reason is because, is there a possibility that maybe you presented to them incorrectly in your exuberance in the beginning of your ASEA life or career? And I tell you, our friends are very forgiving. People are very forgiving, and they always want to help people. And if there's any chance you can say, you know, Mary, I owe you an apology. When I first introduced you to ASEA, I was excited about it, but I didn't really understand it as much as I do now. And I would really appreciate it if you would take, you know, if you'd be willing to take the time to look at this more through an education process. Not suggesting that any of you might have done something, been a mitochondriac or overspoke, but there's a possibility that there might be somebody out there that you might want to reintroduce this to. And I guarantee you, if you just apologize up front, the human factor is so powerful. People want to help us all the time.
I'm really glad you brought up Debbie Wessler too. That's such a powerful story. And not only were you not prejudging people, but the other thing I liked about what you did is you got in and really dug deep and worked with her, making phone calls and making it happen. So, you know, that's the other thing is the follow-up, which is, you know, kind of more of the ALIP process. But
and Dr. David Silverman. So Debbie
brought him in,
we had him featured a couple of weeks ago. He was gracious enough to come on as well. So the lives that you've changed because you helped Debbie is amazing.
Well, and honestly, if David was approached with a business, it's so interesting to see the layers. You can look in hindsight and you can see the layers that were happening in people's lives. But if Debbie would have approached David with a network marketing opportunity, I don't know if he would have been interested, but he had a father with a health challenge, and that was his hot button. And once he saw his father starting to get better and he started to see the product working, that's what opened the door for the business for him. So, you know, if you come through the door that they're interested in, they're much more likely to see the business as a possibility. So for example, we were just talking to one of our son's friends, and we started to prejudge. I started to prejudge because I assumed, because she's a young person with health challenges, that she'd be interested in the ASEA. Well, she's not interested in the ASEA. She's interested in the skincare, which if I prejudge, I think is crazy. Because as a mother figure in her life, I want her to get her cells healthy, but it's none of my business because it's not my body. So when her skin cells start becoming healthier, she may start to look at her internal cells as being more important. But it's so important to not micromanage people and meet people where they are and let people tell you where they want to go and how they want to get there. Because the main ingredient between any relationship we have with people on our list is trust. So if people trust us and they know what kind of conversations we're going to have with them or with their friends, they're much more likely to give us names and much less hesitant to kind of guard the people that they know that we might be able to work, reach out to together.
So well spoken. Thank you for sharing your stories and how you approach people. And as far as the living list is concerned, what do you guys use? Are you using Genie? Are you using a memory jogger? How are you keeping track of people and creating your living list?
We're using Genie, and it's quite frankly been a paradigm shift. We have to train ourselves because we've never used a Genie program before. So we have to train ourselves to go into that back office and put Genie in there and send the videos and the documentation out of Genie so that she tells us when they've looked at it, or if they haven't looked at it, so that we know what kind of conversation to follow up with. So she's been a great help to kind of, keep us aware of who's on our list and who we need to follow up with. We're sponsoring somebody on Wednesday who we met, from a lead, and we've had, 4 or 5 conversations with him. And all of a sudden, serendipitously, he ended up from Florida in Carbondale. And so we met him for a cup of coffee, and he said, I'm going to do this. I'll give you my word. And I want to tell you why I'm doing this. I'm not doing this because of redox molecules. I'm not doing this because of ASEA. I'm doing this because you followed up with me. You called me back. I'm doing this because of you. And I mean, that at the end of the day, that really is what it's all about. People want to know that they're partnering with somebody that they can be in business with, that they're in business for themselves, but they're not in business by themselves. So because so many people get sponsored into network marketing, and their sponsor just hopes they figure it out. And most people that have never done this before just can't figure it out on their own. They really want to be coached by somebody who's going to guide them one step at a time to the place that they want to get to, not the place the coach wants to bring them to.
Yeah, I should say that I'm far more antiquated than Cindy and use a spiral notebook for my names.
Whatever works.
But it's really, really good because I do it, the night before, the next day, every day, and I'll go back and pick names off the list and pick names off my notes, and I'll put down tonight what I'm going to do tomorrow. And it's a minimum of 12 things, and therefore I can erase it from my mind. I can have a good night's sleep. I mean, every once in a while, somebody's name comes up when I'm in bed or whatever, and I have to write it down. But in general, what I'll do is write it down, and the next day I'm all good. And if I don't make that call, guess what? It goes on the day after that. So it's like I said, far more antiquated than Jeannie. Jeannie's amazing, but that's what works for me. I like having it right there.
One other thing before we wrap it up is that, Tyler Brenchley said something that really resonated with me. Maybe this will resonate with you, but he talked about hijackers and hitchhikers. And so when you've got people on your list and you're talking to them, you're listening to them, your goal is to find the people that want to hitchhike with you on this journey called ASEA. They want to hitch a ride. They want to come along with you. You're not trying to hijack people who really don't want to go to where you're going and try to bring them with you, because it'll be absolutely exhausting. So, think about hitchhikers. Look for hitchhikers.
It's a great analogy. And based on your experience with being Triple Diamonds and working with people, so typically what's your experience for people who don't create a living list?
They run out of names. Tyler gave an incredible talk. Tyler Norton gave an incredible talk at Envision. And what he talked about was, if you haven't had a steak for a while, you are hankering for a steak. And that steak tastes like the best meal you've had in ages. But if you come home the next day and your wife says, or your husband says, hey, you know what, honey, let's go out for steak again. That was so good. Let's do it again. And you have a steak and again the next night. And the next night, you know what did you get for dinner tonight? Well, I got steak. Let's have steak again. By the 7th, 8th, 9th day of 9 steaks in a row, steak's just not tasting that good. You're hankering for a salad, right? And then what the analogy is if the more people you have on your list, you're not going to start treating everybody like a steak, right? They don't become that important to you. If they want to do this, fantastic. If they don't want to do this, fantastic. If they want to know more, great. If they don't want to know more, no problem. You can remain friendly and happy on your journey, as opposed to, looking at everybody like a steak.
Yeah. Also, I tell you, Melissa, as far as people that don't write out their living list and don't get things down on paper or in front of them, they get overwhelmed with every single person they call. They contact 2 people, and all of a sudden they try and get hold of them. The people go into the witness protection program, everything else. Guess what? Network marketing doesn't work. What? Excuse me? Yeah. I called them. I sent them the tool, and they didn't, hey, next. Go on to the next person. Oh, well, there's nobody else on my list. Well, what happens then? Of course, they end up pulling out. They're depressed. Their network marketing in their mind doesn't work. You've got to build a list. You've got to continue to add on to your list. I love the lifestyle prospecting and think that there are a lot of people out there that are busy in their day-to-day lives, and they're doing this on the side. And when they go into a coffee shop or they go in the grocery store, they have an opportunity to do lifestyle prospecting and add names to their living list.
Well, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, not only are you such tremendous leaders, but as Ed mentioned earlier, wonderful people, and we look up to you guys and see what you've created, and we can't wait for you to come back to Australia. And have you been to New Zealand?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you have as well? Okay, great.
We've been to New Zealand, but not with ASEA.
Yeah, not with ASEA, so it's
cool. Well,
time to get ourselves down there for that.
Come back, and then we'll see you at the end of the month in Hawaii. So we're really
looking forward to it.
Thanks for taking time to be there in time for the call, and we appreciate you both very, very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great
Thanks
to be with
for
you
having
guys.
us.
We'll talk
Nice
to
to
you.
see you all. Take care.
Yes, you too. Bye. What I wanted to do now was to cross-reference to the panelists and have you shout out, maybe raise your hand, and then we'll call on you so that you're not all calling things out at once. What do you do? What system are you using for your living list, and what's your follow-up process like? And just keep it short. We want to make sure that as many of you who want to participate, it's educational so others can learn. So who would like to go first in sharing what they do and what works for them? So, John.
Just need to unmute yourself, John, or we can unmute you. And just there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I just use a diary. I use a diary every day. I put everything in the diary and just follow it through, and I'll move things forward, or I'll bend a page if there's something important on there that I know I need to be constantly going back to, and that works for me.
Because the only thing, you said it spot on, the only thing, if you're using a diary, you absolutely have to transfer the names forward if you didn't get to them. So that's a massive one. But well, I'm glad that works for you. So thanks for sharing that, John. Anyone else?
Thank
you. This is Carmel here, guys. I ditto what John said. That's what I use, a diary.
Okay. Do you guys have a master list where you have kind of a capture list for all your names and then you work them from that as well?
I also tend to put names in the diary. I'm a bit slack with master list, but I put names in my diary as well. So that's somewhere where I can improve.
Okay.
And I know Lorraine and Stevie use Jeannie, and we're starting to use Jeannie because, as Cindy had mentioned, she is so absolutely amazing for us. I'm not sure. Ed, have you had much experience with Jeannie yourself? I know that Stevie definitely has, and you're a huge fan of Jeannie, Stevie.
Yeah, big fan of Jeannie. Great place to put all your names. Doesn't matter who they are. You never want to, as Cindy and Bo said, you never want to prejudge, but Jeannie will help you prioritize your contacts. So whoever they are, put them on the list, and then Jeannie will help you prioritize them later on. In regards to finding people to put on the list, something that I use, I'm not sure if it was touched on, if I maybe missed it, but Facebook is, if it was a country, to be like the third or second largest country in the world. There's billions and billions of people on Facebook. And the great thing about Facebook is you're able to get CIA on them and profile them before you even talk to them, because they're posting what they like, they're showing pictures of who they are, and you're able to connect with like-minded people that'd be, great to share this ASEA gift with.
Thanks, Stevie. Absolutely. And Jeannie is a lot better now than she was even 12 months ago. So we are certainly going to start duplicating using her and need to get on the same program, because she wasn't as user-friendly for Australians for a while there. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. So Jessica, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Melissa. I'm very much I love talking to people as I go along, whether I'm in the street, the park, or the shop. Very much what Bo said, smile on your face, be happy, and you somehow attract people that that are happy too, and strike up a conversation, and before you know it, very much listening to their story and asking questions, and then I assess, Seb does the same, of course, we often do it together. We assess if we actually like to have them in our business and then take it from there. And before you know it, we have their contact, they have ours, and we send them some information, and we always follow up the next day or the day after.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know you two, your follow-up is impeccable. You never let it go past 3 days. Let's take 2 more examples so we move on. Dan, were you wanting to say something?
Dan, you've talked with a lot of people. How do you keep track of everything and the people that you're talking with?
I've got 2 diaries and 13 whiteboards. I'm old school. I mean, the guys that are coming in, Jeannie's fantastic. You can start, loading up your information from day one. So anybody new coming on board, highly recommend that you do that. But I think keeping something manual is going to help also. ASEA has turned the network marketing model into the best business model in the world. We need to share this with everybody. There's 2 groups of people that know, that either know people, and they've got a group of people they don't know, and adding up them together equals 7 billion people. There's so many people on the whole planet to work with, to talk to. So just get out there and talk to everybody, build relationships. Your living list should include your growth point, which is anybody in your business who who is actually building this business with you. So your growth point is me coming to Florida, for example, and working with these ladies to build the business. So while you're talking to people about the best business model in the world, about the best business, ASEA, work with the people who are actually building this business as well. So keep doing that and create that all-out massive action, guys. Don't stop building this and put in as much time as you can outside your busy schedule. I'm going to stop there, otherwise I keep going, and I know a couple other people want to jump on.
Thanks so much, Dan, because you certainly lead by example. So one more person who'd like to contribute on what they're using. And is anyone using Eric Warre's memory jogger? Because that's what we use. Sep's using it, and you use it with all your new people as well. And the getting started sheet, the one sheet that's been created, the training tool, that is phenomenal as a process of starting to put those names out there. So that's what we all need to be using to start with our new people.
Yeah, especially that first meeting when you're sitting down with them, you're actually helping to capture some names straight away. And yeah, that is a good one.
Did you want to say something on that, Seth?
Yeah, hi, Melissa. But yeah, very quickly, the getting started sheet, it's absolutely phenomenal. Even whether they're doing the business or not, or they're just somebody using the product, at the very least, we use the getting started sheet to just so that they're empowered to log in to their own back office to place an order. Even if that's enough in itself, but somewhere down the line, they may want to look at the rest of the page, and they may want to look at the business. But just having them connected to testimonies and stories through charge-up calls, people actually love that, and we don't even talk about the business at all. We said, look, we don't even worry about these pages in the middle. We just want you to know if you need help, this is who you call. We're here for you. This is the blah, blah, blah. And it's very, very profound. So we use it for everybody, whether they're a product user or someone looking at the business.
Thanks so much for sharing that with us, because for those of you on the line, if you go to our TBG, OURTBG.com, it's a website I'm creating. It's still in the early stages, but the getting started sheets downloadable for all of you to have access to start that living list process. So what I'd like to do is transition into playing a very short video from Eric Warre. Part of the 90-day burst is for everyone to be reading the GoPro, if not once, several times throughout the process, because as we all know, with Eric, nobody does it better than him in the industry when it comes to training right now. So I'm going to play a very short video on Living List, what he does in terms of his process. I'll just exit out of here. And then what we'll do is I'll do a little bit of recognition. We'll go a little bit more in depth from what Eric does from his books and what he suggests. We'll promote some events, and then we'll let you go for the weekend. So let me just bring this.
It just goes for, I think, just 3 minutes.
Yeah.
My name is Eric Worre, and this week we're going to talk about 5 steps to unlimited prospects. I remember when I first got involved in the network marketing profession, I was so stressed out about asking myself the question every single day, do I know anybody? Do I know anyone? And since I was so young, just 22 years old, most of the people I knew didn't have any money. They were not really thinking entrepreneurially. They were thinking about trying to get to the weekend. And because of that, I made my little written list, and I went out to my list with a lot of anxiety and not much skill, and I started to drain the list. My best prospects said no, and I started to go down the list. And as my list got smaller and smaller, my anxiety got higher and higher. You see, what I thought in network marketing was that the number of people you had on the list and the quality of those people that you had the day you joined, in other words, this database of relationships, that was going to determine your success or failure in network marketing. If you had a good list, a good group of people, good contacts, good relationships, then you're going to have a huge business in network marketing. And if you didn't, or you lived in a small town, or you just, you hadn't developed that skill yet, you weren't that social, maybe you're more introverted like me, if you didn't have that big list of contacts, then your chances were slim to none. And what I've learned over the course of the last 28 years is that's not true. Successful people in network marketing look at finding prospects as a skill. Most of the people that they involve in their business, they met after they got involved in network marketing. As a matter of fact, ask your leadership, people who are high earners in your company, how many of the people that they personally have sponsored into their business, how many of them did they know prior to getting involved in the business, and how many did they meet after they got involved in the business? What you're going to see is the vast majority of those people involved and sponsored into network marketing were met after that person got involved with their company. In other words, their past list was not the key to their success. It was their skill moving forward at developing their prospect list, developing relationships with those people that mattered the most. So today I'm going to give you 5 steps.
So I'll stop it there. For those of you who are interested in listening to this video on YouTube, it's called 5 Steps to Unlimited Prospects. And to summarize what Eric is going to continue to talk about with the 5 steps, number 1 is an active candidate list. So we all know that by now. Bo and Cindy have touched on it. We need to make sure we keep it active. And basically, Eric suggested it's a process of completely emptying your mind on a piece of paper, using the memory jogger with all the suggestions of all the different professionals that you cross paths with in your life, hairdresser, accountant, attorney, whomever, and write them all down. Then the second most important component is to constantly expand your list. And he likes to say 2 a day, add 2 new names a day, and create the habit of doing that consistently. And he said you really need to set yourself up to be disciplined, and they don't need to be prospected at the moment that you meet them. So there's the finesse. It's the hitchhikers and the hijacking concept that Cindy was talking about before, and that Bo had mentioned, because he was talking about lifestyle prospects as well. So number 3 is raising your awareness, getting into a situation where you really take to heart why you're doing ASEA. You realize that you have a personal responsibility for everyone to know about these molecules. This is a cause. It's absolutely changing lives. You don't know who's around you every day, who they might know, or what's going on in their lives to be able to help change their lives as well. So Eric goes on to say we're constantly given opportunities, and you need to train yourself to learn those opportunities when they present themselves to you as well. And he's a big fan of collecting friends and expanding your friendships. And also, he classifies himself as being introverted. So he says you need to get out. People are not necessarily going to knock on your door, knock on your front door and come and say, I want to do an ASEA business. We've heard definitely a lot on Eric's 4th concept, which is never prejudge. And the 5th one is a lot of fun, because it's network on purpose. Be a citizen of the world, where he says, join new groups, serve your community, get out there. Like Stevie says, really, really get out there on Facebook. And here's a little tangent, but it's from a gentleman named Ray Higdon. He's a top income earner in a company, don't know which one, but he's got this out. It says, it's a tough love example. He says, the bigger reason I believe that people will not make a list and approach their warm market is they care more about their appearance than possibly helping people. They're so worried about rejection and possibly looking stupid that they'd rather not run the risk of helping a friend. In a day and age where people are losing jobs and their retirement, it's disappointing when I hear someone say they cannot approach their warm market. Keep in mind, I was in foreclosure when my warm market approached me. Thank God he wasn't as selfish as some of the people out there that will not make their list. And I'm sure we've all got stories and experiences of people in our team that, we've been so glad we've spoken to, and those that maybe we haven't, as somebody else has, and it's really changed their lives. So, Dan, did you have anything to add on that? Or Ed?
I was going to make a quick request, sorry to butt in. That was powerful, that quote. Can you send that one out?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you.
Tough love quote. Thanks, Stevie.
Yeah, this is tough love too. This might sound a bit harsh, but we're all spending a lot of money with local businesses in our area. If people don't do business with me, I just move to another business. The cafe, go to another cafe. The naturopath, go to another naturopath. The chiropractor, I go to another chiropractor. And I'll find somebody that wants to get involved in this business. I just keep punching through them.
Yeah,
I spend money with them. I want them to do business with me.
Yeah. Like what Seth was talking about earlier, because I've never seen you get caught up on anyone. You're maybe disappointed for 3 seconds, but you see the bigger picture and realise the good that's out there and the opportunity that's expanding every day for us. So
yeah,
you do that well.
Working the referrals down in depth, never prejudging people. Make your list as big as possible so you don't get hung up on the nose. Following up, there's been a lot of great stuff on this call.
Yeah, definitely. And to recap, for those of you who have GoPro, it's page 31 in the GoPro book, Eric Warre's book. And I mentioned this a month ago. I'm mentioning it again because it's really important to think about it when it comes to, are you a poser, an amateur, and a professional when it comes to your living list? So 80% of people who join network marketing, they join with a poser mentality. So maybe they scratch a few names down on a piece of paper. They go out, call the names, maybe on their own, maybe three-way with their upline, and those 3 people don't make it. So as we heard earlier, there's something wrong with the industry, which is what Bo was saying. So that posers have an opportunity to upgrade into being an amateur, which is actually writing out a substantial list. They charge forward, but they don't look at their list building as an actual acquired skill. So they've got a lot of excitement, and when their list grows smaller and smaller, their anxiety gets higher and higher, like Eric was talking about in his little video. And so they have a major fear of running out of people to talk to. And that's a very real fear. And sometimes when you're new to network marketing, that's present. And the third one is professional, being a professional, where you start with a written list, you upgrade it to being a candidate list, an active candidate list that's growing, that's living. You're treating it like a skill set, and you're realizing that there's opportunities everywhere. You're placed in certain places every day for the right reasons for the people around you. So think about that as well when it comes to, so far in your business, have you been a poser? And if so, look at being an amateur, go full core and be a professional. Get it done. We've got all the tools. SEA's backed us up with Jeannie. We've got no excuses. We're duplicating by our actions to everyone in our organisation. So start doing your list if you haven't, because you'll possibly notice that if you haven't got your list, maybe people in your team don't as well. So, so I'm at...
Can I interrupt there, please, Melissa?
Yeah.
Can I just interrupt, please? Yeah, I was involved in a previous company, and my sponsor said to me to make a list of everyone I know, and I said to him, I don't need to write them down. I know everyone in the district. And I prejudged the 6 people because we had to get 6 direct. So I prejudged the 6 best people that I knew, and I rang them up, and none of them were interested. And my mind went blank. I couldn't think of anyone, even though I knew everyone. So I'm just saying this because I notice there's new people on the call. The first thing to do is to write down your list before you get started and make a list of everyone, because when you get a few no's, you'll get disappointed and your mind will go blank. So start with a big list. I think that's the most important thing, to start with a big list.
Thanks, Alan. And the miracles of these molecules are too big to have a tiny little list. So if you're not at the place yet where you feel like you've got a personal responsibility based on the information that you've been exposed to with ASEA, do yourself a favour, get educated and really embrace that cause that ASEA is, because then you will never have an attitude that you're running out of people to talk to, because you'll see the good by putting other people first all the time and letting them know about what we have here. So thanks so much for that, Alan. I'll transition quickly into some recognition from last week, and then we'll wrap up with a few of the events that we need to make sure you've got on your radar that you've booked tickets for. So we have a silver executive last week, Tim Mandeville, who is under Daya Nyloff in Noosa. So congratulations, Tim and Daya. That's really exciting for last week.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. And Director 700, we have Vicky Bryce.
And we got a brand new silver too. Is it official yet, Dan?
Right.
There we are.
Sandy
Congratulations.
Well done, Sandy. She's still... You're still there. You're only, what, a case away, or maybe not even?
Battering's just been done now.
Oh, congratulations,
Wahoo!
Sandy. So you went one day, basically. I'm sorry? Didn't you say earlier you went silver in one day?
No, I didn't say that.
Bronze 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Silver
okay.
today.
Yeah, I thought you said that earlier. That's really exciting that you pulled it all together.
Yeah,
So.
today. Yeah.
Today. Okay, Director 700's Vicky Bryce and Jill Hahn. And we have Bruna Calcagno as well. And Director 300, Tracy Edmedis. Sorry if I'm not saying the names right. Lynn Mint Proprietary Limited. And Marlene Saylor as well, and Dawn Darby. So congratulations, the Director 300s and Director 700s. As you know, yeah, huge. Thanks, Dan. Well done. And as you know, this is a 90-day burst, so it is about all-out massive action. We've been so fortunate to have the Bucks on today, because they're not in our organisation. They're Crossline Triple Diamonds, who are excited to participate and impart their wisdom. We do have Tammy and Chuck Gates next week, so we always love hearing from them.
Ambassador Double Diamonds.
Yeah,
it should be a great call.
Yeah. So as far as the plan with the 90-day burst, have you made your list? If not, update it. Are you doing your mentor and buddy calls to make sure that there's the support for you? Is today a great day to start engaging in the 30 presentations in 30 days? So read through your agreement, look at what's perhaps missing, because yet again, what you do is you're duplicating, and make a decision to make the changes necessary. And congratulations to all of you who are rank advancing during this process, because this is an exciting time to do that.
So I think all of you are familiar with this, but if there were some calls that you missed, you wanted to catch up on, or the documents that Melissa just mentioned, it's just go to our website, OURTBG.com, and the videos and the documents, so that you can continue that duplication process, because obviously it's not what we do, but it's what we duplicate, and that's the power of these calls and the power of this process.
Absolutely. And let's transition into what's coming up. We all know about Trish and Bob Schwenkler, Presidential Diamonds, who are coming out on the 9th of November. And they're travelling throughout Australia. Yet again, the dates are on the calendar that you can download from the website, as well as the emails that I send out. This is the biggest event we have before the end of the year, before the convention next year. And it's absolutely crucial that you get people at this event when it comes to pre-planning.
In fact, speaking of events, Mel, I don't know if you wouldn't mind just taking a second in terms of just sharing what you're doing to promote that event and how important you're seeing, because we've talked about that a little bit. I mean, Trish just went Presidential Diamond. She's the top pin. She's got the largest organization out there. Do you mind commenting on sorry, I just unmuted. There you go.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, for me and for all the teams, this is for me probably going to be the highlight of the year, having the #1 income earner in the world coming in to share. So for all of us, especially me, wanting to learn how to build this business on from these levels. So one of the things that I do with people is, often when you promote a function to people, they'll buy one ticket because they mainly just think about, well, I'll be there. But so one of the things that I do is to encourage people to buy 3 tickets or 5 tickets at a time, and then go about moving those tickets and selling those tickets on. And then when they've sold those, and then replenish, then go back in and buy another 3 tickets or another 5 tickets, and set a quality goal for how many people you want, not just personally to be there. So you've got a personal goal, but also to have a group goal of how many people in your organization. One of the things that we were taught many years ago about these kind of functions is that this is where, as a networker, we get our leverage from these functions. And because there's nothing that Mal Sword will say or anybody else would say that Trish Schwenkler wouldn't say 10 times better. So if you've got people that are sitting on the fence, or if you've got people that are not yet ready to build the ASEA business, there's nothing that I've been able to say to people, or nothing that I've been able to lead them to, but it's the emotion of a function. When people are drawn together in a function like this, they make a decision that goes from their head to their heart, and they make an emotive decision. And what I've watched over the many years being in building networks is it's a 6 weeks after a major function like this that you get the majority of your growth. So we were taught many years ago, the biggest promoters have the biggest businesses. And, we go from the living rooms to the dance halls. So the living rooms is where we gather the people, and then the dance halls are where we actually build the business. And it's a little bit like herding cats. You've got to round them all up. And, but give people plenty of notice, because I guarantee you when they go within a week or 2 weeks, they'll say to you, oh, look, if you'd given me more notice, then I would have been there. So you have to, the ideal, the sweet spot is probably between 6 and 8 weeks from event, which we're in that sweet spot now. I've moved a ticket the other day to somebody, and she said, I'm not sure what I've got on there. And I said, well, you do now. So because people are, they live busy lives and things like that. Look, I know if I can get somebody there, if I know I can get somebody this function, it's just going to be the best thing for everybody. And I know that for me and for most of us on this call, one of the things we'll be thinking when we're in that event with Trish Schwenkler is, I wish we had another 5 people here. I wish we had another 10 people here. So look, as far as I'm concerned, it's a major event. Many people that will be there will move ranks, within 6 weeks, 8 weeks after they attend that function, if they promoted it properly. And it'll be a major impetus to the numbers in this country, I believe. And I'm sure that'll be the case. And I don't even know Trish Schwenkler, but anybody that's got the business he's got, I need to listen to her, because I don't.
So Mel, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, I mean, you're talking about setting some goals. I'm sure that you probably have a number of how many in your mind that you've got a goal, how many people you intend to get in front of Trish, whether it be at the Brisbane event or Sydney event or Cairns or wherever it is. You're looking at you're saying these are the places where she's going to be, and how many people. You have a kind of a target?
Well, I have a personal target of 50 personals there, and I have an overall target of 150 people there. So, at this stage in the organisation that I have, it's young, and so I'm still doing most of the work. That's the way you build a network. And I was reading in the Become magazine, Trish Schwenkler says exactly the same thing, that in the early stages of the business, I mean, don't you hate that? Everybody wants to do as little as possible and get as rich as possible, but a business like this is front end loaded. Everybody wants the rank of a triple diamond, but what people don't see is the work that went into those initial months, years to set the foundation. And one of the best analogies, I think, of building a business like this is that it's like building a skyscraper. You build a skyscraper in the city, and for months and months and months, you listen to them making a lot of racket, but nothing's happening. You kind of peek through a hole in the wall, and you think, oh, they're working underground. But so there's a lot of noise, but you want to see the building come up. Well, that's the building. That's where it goes. And the bigger the foundation, the bigger the platform that you build, ultimately, the bigger the skyscraper will become. But you have to do the quiet miles, and the quiet miles are in building the foundation. And if you've got a big foundation, then your building will come up. And this is, for me, the event with Trish Schwenkler is a huge event to help establish. And I think for many people, you'll start to see post the function, you'll start to see your skyscraper grow. After that.
Thanks so much, Mel. You can definitely see.
Can I just add one thing there? Look, for everyone on the line, I'd just like to say that what I see most important that Trisha's bringing to Australia, she's bringing credibility to network marketing. She's bringing credibility to ASEA. She's bringing credibility to the product, and she's bringing credibility to you. She's actually coming here to validate each and every one of us in front of all of our friends and peers that we bring to this event. And you don't get a stronger person than her, given where she's at. and she's going to pat you on the back in the way she presents what she's achieved, what she's done, and what this company is doing globally. And she could be the very person that helps a lot of people that you really would love to introduce to ASEA across the line based on she's walking living proof.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sep. You're absolutely right. Along the same vein, convention tickets, book your tickets, book your tickets, book your tickets, and book your hotel accommodation.
And just like Mal said about the setting numbers for Trish's event, do the same thing with the convention. How many people on your team can you get there to the convention? Because people make big decisions at big events.
So the details for Trish's tour, Trish and Bob, is on the Team Builders Global newsletter as well. It's also in the calendar for the Eventbrite tickets. So it's inexpensive, $12.50 a ticket. Brisbane a little more dearer because it includes lunch. So as far as weekly, we've got the New Zealand webinars that are happening Tuesday nights. That's 6 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. New Zealand. Daylight savings. Stevie told me before I got on the plane that daylight savings in Australia changes on Sunday, 2 a.m. So we'll revert back to all the webinars will be Queensland time, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern daylight savings
7 a.m. You mean?
7 p.m.
Okay.
For
the webinar. Okay.
For the webinar, and it'll be 7 a.m. for the 90-day burst call in Queensland. So
sorry, I got to
the
mix
banana
up.
benders get to get up early, get on the webinars. So keep an eye out for those time zone changes for the southern states. It'll stay at 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. for the 90-day burst. And remember to get people on the line for the Discover ASEA presentation that we do, that Stevie and Maria Hopwood are hosting in our absence as well. And finally, thought for the week, got two because I added one. Nobody can dim the light that shines from within, and that's Maya Angelou, I think is how you pronounce her name. It's so true when it comes to the right attitude to build this business. And the other one was from Cindy, listen with your eyes. I love that. I think we'll all be really amazing networkers if we focus on that one thing alone. So Dan, an opportunity, Ed, to say a few final things before we jump off.
I just concur with Mal's analogy about the building. That's just such a great picture of what it takes to do this business. So Trish, just for you Aussies, Trish is a ball of enthusiasm, and I know sometimes you can think that us Americans are a little hypey and a little over the top, but you know what? There's substance there with Trish. Trish is absolutely passionate. She is who she is. She's going to come across enthusiastic, bubbly, excited, but it's not superficial. I've known Trish for over 20 years, and she's as genuine as they come. She's passionate about what she's experienced here, and you will sense that. So just embrace who she is, because she's going to be real when she's there. Bob's going to be extremely quiet. Bob's an engineer, but he's brilliant. He's a great support behind the scenes. Give him the kind of welcome I know you guys are capable of. And Mal's exactly right. The people you get there, the more you get there, the greater the results you're going to see in your business in the years ahead. So take advantage of the opportunity. And my beautiful wife is here with me. Isn't that nice to have Rebecca here? There's the camera right there.
Yeah, it's so good to see you, Rebecca. Oh, you're gorgeous. Thanks for joining in. And Danny, final words.
Well, I know that everybody's serious about building an ASEA business on this call. I build this business like a traditional business. There is a lot of skin in the game. I build it like I've invested $1 million in it. Yeah. So if you're that serious about it, guys, just think that you spent $1 million, you invested $1 million into a traditional business. You've got to make it work.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Bo and Cindy.
Yeah, thanks, Bo and Cindy. Thank you to all of you as panelists and particularly as participants. A lot of work goes into pulling these together for your benefit and ours as well. So get as many people on as you can. Chuck and Tammy next week. So have a great one, everybody. 7 a.m. Queensland time, and we'll catch you soon. And we look forward to seeing most of you on the panel here in Ascent. The weather's amazing right now. Steph and Jesper can testify because they're 30 minutes up the road.
We'll see you in Hawaii.
See you in Hawaii. Oh, have a great time on your cruise, Ed and Rebecca.